has a new protector.
And her name is Starfire.
Captain Forrest here. In today's video, I'm going to be going over both these combatants to see who would win, more often than not, in a inverse situation. Starfire versus Supergirl. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and talk about both these combatants. I'm going to dive in, talk about Supergirl first, then I'm going to talk about Starfire afterwards, and then near the end of the video, I'm going to give my thoughts on who I think wins more often than not in an inverse situation. So starting off with Supergirl, especially her current feats, Rebirth. Now Rebirth Supergirl has performed many feats over the years. In fact, I actually made a power scaling video on her many years ago, but with time comes new feats and showings. So in Supergirl's own comic run, she demonstrates that she's physically capable of damaging Cyborg Superman on a good few occasions. This very same Cyborg Superman is stated by Superman himself to be every bit as fast and strong as Superman, which is very impressive. Supergirl would also at least downscale to Superman during this time period. As we see in Post-Crisis, Supergirl demonstrates quantifiable feats such as damaging Superboy Prime, who has a feat of body slamming Ion Amp Sodom Yacht, which is very impressive and important because we learn in Rebirth that the emotional spectrums reside behind the source wall. Supergirl has also shown in both New 52 and Rebirth to physically overpower Wonder Woman, and even when she's bound by the lasso of truth, she's been able to physically damage her. Now during Rebirth, Supergirl undergoes surgery to stabilize her cells, which are supercharged permanently, and her powers are more amplified than normal, and she's stronger than ever. Supergirl now has better control over her new amp. It's later revealed in her own run that she retains this amp throughout Rebirth permanently. For more consistency for Supergirl's downscaling, in Action Comics issue 1026, Supergirl and Superman both fight a parasitic creature that absorbs the blows of your attacks. She fights along with Superman, and this creature takes Superman and Supergirl's attacks and even attacks them back, though it doesn't do a lot of damage to them. Supergirl defeats the creature by simply overpowering its absorbing capabilities and making it overload, which is impressive for Supergirl, showcasing that she ranks amongst the powerhouses in DC. Now lastly, during Dark Crisis, the Dark Army began to spread their influence throughout, gathering villains into their ranks. The Justice League and the Teen Titans were fighting them off, and Supergirl during that event is shown to harm Sinestro with her heat vision, and Supergirl also during that event helps Superman fight off Darkseid in a beam struggle. So that's going to wrap up Supergirl. I'm going to go ahead and move on, talk about Starfire. When we look at Starfire's feats, she isn't too far behind. She has feats of battling a possessed Wonder Woman in Post-Crisis. This Wonder Woman notes that the attacks from Starfire was really good, implying that she was not suppressed, and Envy, who was controlling Wonder Woman, even boasts about how strong Wonder Woman's powers are, and this very same Starfire takes attacks from her, and Starfire also blasts Wonder Woman with her Starbolt. There was another occasion where Starfire does battle with Wonder Woman, who was not possessed this time. This very same Wonder Woman was forced to exert some effort in battle against Starfire, and even gives Starfire recognition during combat. Another impressive feat for Starfire was the time where she was enraged. Her Starbolts were so powerful that it was affecting Jessica Cruz's Green Lantern construct, drastically draining her ring's battery percentage, and Jessica even notes that she could not hold the barrier up for much longer. This is very impressive because Jessica, with the last of her remaining willpower and energy from her Green Lantern ring, punches True Form Darkseid in his face, causing him to bleed. It's noted in Justice League Odyssey that Jessica instinctively shielded herself before Darkseid's Omega Beams fried her. Her ring also absorbed some of Darkseid's energy from his Omega Beams, and the broken shards of her Green Lantern ring used that energy to bring Jessica back to life and heal and repair the damage that was done. It was also noted by hacks that the Omega radiation absorbed into Jessica should have killed her, but instead it was healing her. So this would also be impressive for Starfire, as she would downscale from this feat during this time period. Another feat that I would like to mention was the time where Starfire fought and damaged Brainiac 8 in combat. This very same Brainiac 8 was able to tank an attack from Jade's Green Construct Punch. Brainiac 8 demonstrates she's able to damage Jade. This very same Jade was able to create a barrier which the energies were that of New Genesis and Apocalypse, which is very impressive, and this would also backscale to Starfire, so Starfire scales to this, which is very impressive. In Dark Crisis, Starfire was also amongst the other heroes in preparation to fight off the Dark Army. Her Starbolts are powerful enough to even harm the likes of Sinestro and Doomsday, who are amped by the Great Darkness's chains. And lastly, Starfire performs a very recent feat, and a very impressive one in fact. During the time Black Adam was turned into a lion and was more animalistic and more deadly in combat, both Donna Troy and Starfire fight Black Adam, showcasing their attacks are strong enough to hurt hurt him. Starfire is also shown to physically dominate him in combat to the point where he runs off, and her star bolts are even able to damage him as well. So that's going to wrap up both these combatants. I'm going to go ahead and give my thoughts on who I think wins more often than not in an inverse situation. So when we look at both these combatants, both of their feats, they're quite similar. You could argue them being quite relative, but when we look at more current feats as the timeline progresses, when we move along from post-crisis, when we move to New 52, and we move into Rebirth and further into current DC comics in 2024, easily I would say Starfire takes AP just due to a recent feat of harming Black Adam, and Black Adam in current times is very strong. He's definitely a rival to Superman. He scales more to Superman. There's even arguments that he scales above Superman in general in current times, and with Starfire being able to perform such an impressive feat even by herself and even with the help of Donna Troy, that alone is very impressive. Supergirl is also impressive in her own right, however she hasn't really shown anything else. It's a little bit lackluster right now, and of course with the meta of how things are when it comes to scaling and inverse, the frequency is always changing. So personally, and based off feats and what I'm seeing consistency wise, there was a point in time where Supergirl and Starfire was pretty close, or you could even argue Supergirl edging out, but due to current feats and recent showings on Starfire's end, I'm gonna have to give AP to Starfire. Ultimately, this fight, I would say Starfire would win. More often not, I'd say probably low mid difficulty, just due to Supergirl's tenacity. Her tenacity is very impressive. She will keep fighting even if she's getting bodied, so I'd say low mid diff. And you could even argue some aspects about the fight. What about Supergirl? What about the energy absorption? What about her heat vision? I don't think that's going to matter much. Starfire herself can also lay down a smackdown. She can also absorb energy herself, so she can just further amp herself too in combat. Ultimately, I just see Starfire taking victory. She's just far too superior in stats. So that's my thoughts. If you guys are new to my channel, make sure you leave a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for further content. Please leave your feedback down in the comment section as well if you guys enjoyed this video. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a great day. Captain Forrest signing out. Peace.